Good morning. Recently Marcia and I had watched a television show on sailing, and it got us to reminiscing about some of our favorite vacations. And we got to thinking about a time almost 35 years ago now. We'd gone sailing down in the Caribbean. We'd gone to the Virgin Islands with some friends of ours, Walt and Susie. We chartered a 45-foot sailboat. We captained it ourselves, and we sailed around the islands for a week and had a wonderful time. But the very first day we got there and started off, I was going barefoot. I was on the boat. I slipped and I gashed my foot open. Well, Walt was a dentist and he had brought along his little black doctor bag. And he got out antibiotic ointment and bandages and bandaged it up. We had to decide, is it really bad enough for stitches or not? And finally decided no. Well, he took care of my foot all week long and we had a great time sailing and I was all right. But at the end of the week, we went to the airport. They were flying back home to the States, but Marsh and I were going to stay on for one more week and go to another island, the island of Guadeloupe, and go to a resort there. So as we got ready to go our separate ways, Walt said, I'm still concerned about that foot of yours. Why don't you take my little black medical bag with you and you can continue to take care of your foot? I said, that was very kind, thank you. I didn't look in it, I just took the bag and we went on our way. They went on theirs. We landed in Guadeloupe. We'd filled out our papers. We were landed and had to go through customs. We had our passports and we were going up in line, and finally they asked for our passport. I handed it to the man. And then he looked at us for a moment and he looked at my black bag and he opened it up and he stuck his hand in, and when he pulled his hand out, it was full of syringes. My heart suddenly sank. This had been such a beautiful day. We were so happy. Life was so good. And now I'm looking at a customs agent with a handful of syringes looking at me. And I said, those aren't mine. I'm a Methodist minister. He stuck his hand back into the bag, and next he pulled up a whole bunch of vials of clear liquid. And he looked at me and said, are you a doctor? No, I'm a Methodist minister. I started to go into my story and try to explain what had happened. He simply held up his hand for me to be quiet. I got to thinking about how I looked at that moment. I was trying to lean on that line, I'm a Methodist minister, you can trust me. But I hadn't shaved in 10 days. I was wearing a straw Panama hat, a gold necklace, a t-shirt, and a pair of shorts and sandals. Oh yeah, Methodist minister. He said, follow me. We got out of line. He took us over to another place. He started pulling out everything from our suitcases. He patted down every piece of clothing. He took out the linings of our suitcases. He took our wallets and went through every piece of paper, reading it in a wallet, turning them upside down. I knew there wasn't anything illegal. We had not done anything wrong, but still it was scary. We were in another country, one United States. There was nothing I could do. We stood there in this hot, unair-conditioned custom place for over an hour while he went through everything. This exciting, fun, beautiful day into Guadeloupe suddenly wasn't going the way we planned. Finally, after an hour, he said, you can put everything back in. We started throwing everything into the suitcase. He asked for our passports again. He went over, boom, he stamped them and smiled and said, welcome to Guadeloupe. We walked out of that customs building and I went to the first garbage can I could find and I emptied that bag into the garbage can. That's kind of how life happens. You're going along and everything is fine, and suddenly everything changes. It's what happened to the disciples. Triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Everything was going fine. The first part of the week was going great. And then on Thursday, Jesus would be betrayed. And when he was betrayed, it would lead to the crucifixion. But that's ultimately what led to Easter. It's why they were the people of hope. It's what happens to us. Life's going along fine, and then you go to the doctor and they say, you have cancer. Or a spouse walks in and says, I want a divorce. Or a boss comes in and says, we're having to cut back and you're going to be laid off. Or you get a phone call and someone's been in an accident. Life can change in a moment. But you and I don't have to be afraid because we know that after Maundy Thursday, after the crucifixion on Friday, there comes an Easter. So you and I, during this Holy Week, are able to remember how important it is to go out and to live life and to embrace it with a spirit of joy and not be afraid. Because even if those bad things happen, Easter's coming, and we know the joy of a resurrection. Have a great day.